everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of Feisty Girl Talk. Let's get it. I'm your host, Chrissy Dory, and today we will be discussing Black women in America. And my special guests are Ashton Wilson.
Hi, everyone.
Give us a little bio about yourself.
I'm Ashton. I am a Los Angeles native, Howard University grad. Currently working in the music industry. I'm at the Recording Academy.
Woohoo! And my next guest is Shannon Whren.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. As she said, I'm Shannon Whren. I graduated from the college school of hard knocks. I'm a playwright. I am a mother. I am a hairstylist. And I am a show and content creator.
Yay! And last but certainly not least, Smith. Woohoo!
Hey everybody! I'm so honored to be here. My name is Cy Smith. I am a singer, songwriter, recording artist, musician, producer, all of that stuff.
Yay! Yes. And just to give a little backstory, Shannon Whren, you are going to be seeing on a lot of my podcasts. She's actually my sister. Okay. And she has such great knowledge on a lot of topics. So, you'll be seeing her throughout a lot of my episodes. Cy, we were on tour together. I was in her amazing song.
Yes.
So, and Ashton and I worked at Trio Talent Agency together. We were agents together. So we all made the full circle back to one another. And I appreciate you guys for coming and being a part of my episode number 3, Black Girls Rock. So really quick, ladies, I chose you 3 because I love you. You guys are my friends. You guys are my family. And I just want to speak positively and authentically about being a Black woman in America. And I would like for each of you to just give your little point of view, your little nuance of how do you feel being a Black woman in America right now? Whoever want to go first is great.
Go ahead.
I think I believe, when you think of America, you think about united, you think about people, coming together, you think about equality. So those are some things that we as Black women are starting to change the narrative as it relates to our due diligence, as it relates to being treated as Americans. I think we've had a rough road. I think not just us, but our forefathers, our ancestors, they have paved the way for us, but it has been very, very difficult. As a woman, I think we have to get to our intended end. We have a lot of mountains that we have to cross, I think sometimes unnecessarily, because we are women. The equality as it relates to, we do some of the same jobs that men do, and men, for the most part, get paid at a higher rate than we as women. So we have to, some women are put in positions where they have to lower their standard and their morals to obtain success. So I think there is, I think the narrative is changing. I still believe that we just have a very long way to go. I think that, the wheel is turning and churning in the right direction, but I believe that we have had it a lot harder than as women of color being in America than our other women, that are in America.
Good. Awesome. Sai, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I'll jump in. Being a Black woman in America, when I think about it, I mean, I come from a family whose roots have been here since slavery. My mother's side is from Tennessee, and my father's side is from North Carolina, and we can trace our lineage on my mother's side back to the slave ship that we came in on.
Wow.
And we still own some of the property in Tennessee that used to be part of the plantations that my
Yeah.
ancestors worked on.
Wow.
So when I think about where I have come from, and I am deeply rooted in the American story. Now, I feel like this generation of us
Yes.
has made a commitment to make sure that Black women aren't left out of the story.
Absolutely.
And that's important to me. And I see Black women taking the reins and making sure that we are written in,
Yeah.
and that our names, even the hashtag say her name is part of making sure that we're not left out of the
Right.
narrative.
Right.
That's important to me. And I'm happy to see this generation doing that work and making sure that 100 years down the line, when the stories are told, Stacey Abrams' name won't be left out.
Right.
Latasha Brown's name won't be left out.
Right.
Chrissy Dory's name won't be left out.
Right. Yeah.
So with all of the hardship that comes along with being a woman and all the hardship that comes along with being Black, I am proud to be both of those things, and I'm proud to know that that we're making sure that the manuscript won't leave our names out.
Awesome. That gave me the chills. That gave me
Right?
chills. Oh my God, that gave me chills. I love it. I can't cry. Don't cry to mess up the makeup. But I love that. That was awesome. That was awesome. Ashton?
I think it's bittersweet. I wish society saw us the way that we see our internal communities. Because I know for me, like, I'm just surrounded by just strong, positive, beautiful Black women. My family, my friends, my coworkers. I mean, just really powerful, strong women. And if only society could see us the way that I see, like, from my perspective. Because in my world, it's awesome. It's great being a Black woman. Like, I wouldn't change it for anything. It's the best thing in the world. But then you look at the news and you see yourself portrayed differently. So definitely bittersweet is the word I would describe it as. Yeah.
I love that, bittersweet. And I'm glad that we are making a change. And I love what you use, the narrative. Shannon used the narrative, because we have to make a change. And our fight is always, we always have to fight for everything: equality, justice, jobs, this. We always, fighting, picketing, Black Lives Matter. And to me, what makes everyone so superior than us? When we all bleed the same blood, okay? We all come from a woman. So why not uplift women in general, whatever race it is? But it seemed like we have everything on our backs to carry on what our ancestors and our forefathers have done. And our lineage goes back to Columbia, South Carolina, Newburgh, South Carolina, North Carolina, and we're all over the place. And it breaks my heart sometimes, because it's like we're always fighting to be equal, but everyone wants to be like us. Everybody want to get the injections like us. Everybody want to get the boobs, the thighs, the buttocks, but you don't want to walk our journey. How do you feel about everybody want to look like us, but don't want to walk our journey? How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, it's not new.
Right. I know. Right.
It's not new, and everybody always wants to look like the originators.
Hey.
Yes. If I were somebody else, I would probably want to look like us too.
Yeah.
But I think even deeper than wanting to look like us, or wanting to sort of emulate our style or our swag, and or replicate our voices, I think that there is a deep-seated understanding that we are connected to something bigger than all of this,
Absolutely.
And I think everybody really is longing for that kind of connection.
Mhm.
And that's why they seek to do what we're doing, even if they don't realize that that's what it is.
Mhm.
That's what it is, you
Yeah.
know. And I think it's a very spiritual longing that everybody wants to have. You know, we are directly connected to our Creator,
Yeah.
and it shows up in everything.
Everything that we do. Absolutely. I concur. I
I,
concur.
I also want to add, I think that there also, in addition to what Sai said, there's an inferior, because I think we are the most talented and gifted people on the planet.
Yes.
And I believe that there is an inferior of us rising so high and so far above our other people, other races in general. I believe that there's an inferior when it comes to us just being women and also being women of color because of our rich history. We are very resourceful people. You know, you put us in a room with some thread and some water and some flour and some, you know, and a lamp, and we'll come out and turn that sucker into some unleavened bread.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And slice it with the thread that they left us with. So we are very resourceful people of color, because we had to stick together back during slavery time. It's like, you know, we looked out for one another. We were so closely knitted. And I think that's what a lot of other not generations, but cultures sometimes don't have. When back when our forefathers were slaves, they stuck together.
Yeah.
And so I believe that there is to piggyback off of Sai, I believe that there's a inferior as well because of our creative, resourceful,
think outside the box.
Yeah, you know, because of who we are. I think that it's like we can't allow them to be who they are, because we won't feel superior because, you know, of who we are. So I think, you know, that's my.
And I love what you and Sai, with what you are saying. Ashton, did you want to add into that?
Just only that I think it's okay for other cultures to emulate what we try to do, but I think it becomes an issue when the respect and the credit is not given for what we started and what we created, particularly when it comes to music. I mean, other art forms as well, but
I love that you
can't just like take us out of the equation when it comes to what we created. All the music genres damn near like came from African people. So I think it's just an issue when you try to flip the script and try to like change the narrative as if it's something that they created and then we're totally written out of, and the respect is not given. So that's when I have an issue. Of course, everyone wants to be like us. Who wouldn't? But that's when I have an issue when it comes to them trying to emulate and copy what we do.
Absolutely. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. The togetherness. Like back in the civil rights movement, 1964, all those type of things, how we came together. We stood together with Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. We have all these amazing historians, you know, Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman. We stood our ground, male or female. But what I would like for our now generation to know is to really, really do your due diligence and research on your history, because you know how they try to put us to fight each other. You know what I mean? Through social media, through any type of, like, watch the commercials. You know, we need to turn the channel. They have African Americans in there, but I remember being an agent, and I remember specifically in the breakdowns, they were like, we want either ambiguous or with the dreads, and that they don't want nobody to look like this. They don't want Black people to look like us. We come in different colors. We come in different type of shape face. We come in variety. And when I used to be an agent, it used to infuriate me when they used to say, we only want this, that, and the third, but your main population that's buying your products and doing your services is us. Mm-hmm. So this is what I want us to start changing the channel and changing the narrative, is that we need to support us. When Sai called me and said, Chrissy, I need you. I said, baby, what you need me to do?
That was your exact word.
Video. I said, I'm there. Just give me a time and I will take off and I will be there. I'm going to support you. And I love her. She was like, after it was over, I want to give you guys a love offering. I said, no, you don't. Yep. I said, you are my sister. You are my friend. You are one of my best friends. And I'm going to support you to the end. I'm going to support Ashton I'm going to support everybody to the end. But that's where we have to start thinking that we are each other's competitors. We are each other. We're like crabs in a barrel. How can we change that narrative and uplift? It's changing, but I needed to change a little more. How can we change that crab in a barrel mentality and support and not always think somebody's going to pay you? The pay is going to come later. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? I'm coming to support my sister, my brother, someone that needs me. It ain't always about the dollar. Mm-hmm. You understand? And that's how I wanted to change that narrative too. It's not always, so how much you gonna pay me?
Right.
Do you know it was an honor to be in your video? You understand what I'm saying? Thank you. And I just want us to see, how do you guys feel about that? We have to change our culture from being the crabs in the barrel. How can we adjust that a bit?
I mean, first of all, thank you for being, those were your exact words. You were just like, when and where, you know, and I appreciate that. And that was, you know, not just words, that was action.
Absolutely.
And I feel like, you know, we are kind of changing that crabs in a barrel mentality. And the thing about it is, the crabs in a barrel mentality kind of thing, that was also a narrative that was pushed on us.
Absolutely.
It wasn't reality. Yeah. It was what, you know, the framers wanted us to think was reality. And a lot of us sort of bought into that, you know, because if you're told something so many amounts of times, you end up kind of believing it.
Absolutely.
But I see now, you know, especially with, you know, this sort of advent of social media, I'm seeing Black women, I'm seeing Black men, and, you know, I'm seeing the LGBTQ community really taking that whole thing and flipping it on its head and sharing each other's businesses and sharing each other's books and sharing each other's plays and really saying to each other, like, support. Like, in fact, I saw a post the other day that said, don't just support Black businesses, like, just be the patron. Like, just make that the regular place that you go to.
Absolutely.
You know, not just on Small Business Friday, but you know, every time you need a cupcake, go over to Southern Girl or whatever, you know, and get what you need. And it's really becoming a very proactive way of life for a lot of us, and it takes practice, like anything else, like dance, like singing, you know, like writing. We got to practice doing it, but the more we practice, I think the better we are getting.
Absolutely. I love that. That's
I think I really like Issa Rae's philosophy, where she believes in utilizing the people who are around her. I know she's been with her publicist for a long time. I went to high school with her, and there are people who went to high school with us, and she employs them all the time for her projects. It's almost like you're just utilizing your resources and who you have around you to help better everyone. Yeah. And it's almost like you can't do it on your own. You need that community. You
absolutely
have someone help you. You have to help the next person. I truly believe in that. You don't make it anywhere by yourself. It's your responsibility to help the next person, to help your community. And it's definitely important. And it starts with who's around you, using your resources to help those who are among you to benefit them as well.
Absolutely. I agree. Shannon, did you want to?
I think I agree with both of what Sai and Ashton said. I think it is changing. And I think having something before you continuously evokes change, and hearing something continuously evokes change. So I think that we are changing, as they stated, like people like Issa Rae and Tyler Perry, and a lot of people of color have started to really push, and other people of color in different industries and aspects. And I think it's just a continuous push and a continuous doing, so that it just catches ablaze, and before we know it, the whole narrative and the whole what was is no longer.
Yeah. Also, oh, this is so good, you guys. I love y'all. Okay, so what I wanted to touch base on, because this have come up with me in conversations about Black women. We're always angry. We mean. We what's the other word? Angry.
Bitter.
Bitter. Argumentative.
Argumentative.
That is. I want, like you said, Sai, that narrative needs to stop.
Right. It needs to stop. So we got to get Black men to stop doing that.
Hello, say it, baby, say it. And they're the ones. They're the culprits. You're absolutely right. So that is so true. And to me, Black men. Now, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of Black men needs to uphold and uplift the Black women, okay, and not belittle us in a way of calling us angry, bitter, argumentative, mean, this, that, and the third. I need them to stop that, because we're not. We're passionate on how we express ourselves when we are in a conversation, especially when you're trying to make us feel like we are idiots. Just being honest. This platform is authentic and honest.
I feel like, part of us, becoming the best us we can become as Black people includes having those hard conversations.
Yes.
And that's one of them. Loving and protecting us out loud in public the same way that you love us privately. And I see Black men kind of working on that, but more work needs to be done in that regard, because nobody publicly shames us like brothers.
Like Black brothers. You're right. You're absolutely right. And the thing that really works and teeters on me when I see on social media is God gave us the bodies, the anatomy to give birth. Now, some people bounce back, some women bounce back, some women don't. But when we give our body to you to bring a child into this world, don't be, her belly and this and this and this. You know what? We're not going to talk about you. But see, that's the thing I need them to stop doing. And there are some brothers that uplift, my baby, this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, these are things that we need to discuss and talk about so we can change that, so our men can go back to how it used to be,
Right.
Right. I just want it to be where we are adorned and where we are respected. You know what I mean?
Right.
And be looked upon as queens as we are. So those things, did anybody else want to piggyback on that regarding our men, saying we're angry, argumentative?
I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I do believe that, but I also believe that we need to present ourselves in such a way. I'm a domestic violence advocate, and one of the things that I have noticed changing is women that are very aggressive and violent and so forth toward men. And I'm not saying the percentage is not, of course, the percentage with the percentage of men being violent toward women is a lot higher. However, those numbers are rising, where you now have women that are very, very aggressive for whatever reason, childhood things that have happened in their lives, what have you. childhood traumas and that type of thing. So I think sometimes, yes, what Sai said, I do believe that men should uphold us as queens, but I think we need to also um, carry ourselves in that queen role, so that when you look at somebody and you say, oh, she's a queen, most of the time it's not because she's acting irate, it's because she's carried herself a certain type of way. And so you say, if you see somebody and their mouth is filthy and they cussing out their kids or whatever, we're not gonna look at them and say, oh, it's beautiful, you are a beautiful queen. We're gonna, to ourselves, even if we don't say it aloud, we're thinking, oh, she's a horrible person, or she's this, and she needs this. So I think a lot of times we have to also carry ourselves in the queens that we want to be respected and called.
Okay.
So I think
I hear you, sister. I hear you.
I can definitely I could definitely cook with that, and we all have some work to do in that regard, and I agree with what you're saying. When I look at the video of Solange in the elevator, going, was she a queen on the elevator, or was Beyonce the queen? I kind of feel like they both were.
Yeah.
But I feel you in that we have some work to do in presentation. You're absolutely right. And I think that just comes from, leading by example. We got to see each other do it,
Right. And bring it back to standards. I don't know how old you are, Sai, but Chrissy, us coming up, Ashton, I'm not really sure of your age, but there was morals and standards that we had that have seemed to have lost its, with the younger generation. It's like, and I understand about, the technology and different things, but it's just certain things that we had standards and we had morals and values that were instilled in us. And I think a lot of it has to do with mothers becoming younger and younger and not necessarily getting that translation of values and morals and principles that we were like, that was instilled in us. So, when you see these videos and how, the TikToks and the, different things that you see, when we're degrading ourselves, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like, oh, you call me a B, but, you got all your tail out and your boobs out and you shaking and gyrating or whatever. And it's just, we just, like I said, we just got work to do. Like,
and as Sai, is an artist, and I just want to put you on the forefront as representing us as a Black woman in America as an artist. Your video,
just about the art.
Yeah, your video, the one with you with the long thing, you showing your body, yaddy, that was tasteful.
Thank you.
That took me to a level like that is what videos is supposed to look like, and how women should be holding themselves and respecting themselves. Everything you did was very artsy, and you respect yourself. And I agree with you, Shannon. You have to hold yourself accountable as that queen and how you are and how you want someone to perceive you. And I get it. You understand what I'm saying? And that I applaud you for, because people go one way with their art form and the other goes the other way. Okay?
Absolutely.
Right.
And it comes with integrity to me. And what your characteristic and what you want to convey. Now, you can go and do and dress the way you dress, but it's how you convey it through that lens, if that makes sense.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I am just kind of being who I have always been.
Yes, you have.
It would really be unnatural for me to step out there and start twerking. Like, that's just not who I've ever been.
Right.
I have no issues with artists who do that, though.
Right.
Like, that's what they do.
Right.
I feel like though that the art and the respectability part aren't mutually exclusive. Like I feel like the part about, you know, respect and kind of just working on ourselves has less to do with you know, whatever Megan is doing,
Yeah.
and more to do with how we see ourselves and who
Yeah.
we think we are.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And that's where I think the work needs to be done, is just reminding our kids and reminding our sisters and brothers who you are.
Who you are. Yeah.
And you know, and yeah, you know, Shannon is right. Like, technology has made a whole lot of clout chasers. You know, everybody wants their 15 minutes, and some people are gonna do whatever they can do to get that quick 15 minutes. Yeah. And that's unfortunate, because that come down from that quick little viral moment is way worse, you know, than I think, you know, these folks understand, you know. And the come up on those little moments really rarely amounts to anything, you know, tangible. You know, rarely amounts to, you know, anything tangible. Anybody can hold on to. Yeah.
Also, I want to piggyback off what Ashton said about the music industry, going back on that, because it's a lot of things that, you know, derive from us, of course. But I was looking on one of the channels, and they were talking about the word momager. So now they saying that Kris Jenner started it. Absolutely not. Sonia Norwood, Brandy and Ray J mama, and Ashanti's mama came way before her. So do you understand what I'm saying? They give that status to her, but you don't give that status to the Black women that trailblazed through with their kids before there were Kardashians. How do you guys feel about that?
I think it's like what Ash just said. You know, we start something, we create something, and it's not received until someone else that they feel maybe is more credible. You know, being a Black woman and managing your children in the industry, I'm sure there's a level of, you have to have tough skin, and you have to, I have never been in that field, but I've been in the entertainment as far as writing and production. And, you know, when you're dealing with underage kids, the mom is the person that actually makes the decisions. And, you know, I just feel like because we don't go for anything, we're labeled as you said earlier, Chrissy, you know, hard to get along. We just don't bend, and we're this and we're that. When 10 years later comes a Kris Jenner with children of another race, white folk, and, you know, they just created everything. And it's like, you know, because you have the ratings. Yeah. Because you have the ratings, you now have become the end all to be all as it relates to managing. Okay, yeah, you did it well, because your kids have managed a certain level of success. But success is not necessarily how much you have. It's basically what impact you've made. Yeah. So I believe. So I think that Brandy's mom and Ashanti's mom, I believe that they fall in that category, and I think that they should get their credit for what they did create.
Yep, I agree.
You're right. Absolutely. I never thought about Sonia's impact.
Oh, Sonia.
You're so right.
Yeah, Usher's mom too. Right. Right. But see, now they glorize it because it's someone other than us. And that's the issue in the narrative we're going to have to change it. With this platform, we are going to change it, because I'm tired of us doing the hard work, paving and trailblazing and not getting the credit. Credit is, we got to get our credit. I'm sorry. And we have to uplift and unite together, because we are some talented people, no matter what arena we in. If it comes into acting, dance, choreography, football, basketball, baseball, singing, music, writing, producing, playing instruments, acting, we are there. And we're not going anywhere. Okay. So I'm so glad that now that we have, Shannon doing content writing, she's going to come with a great show that shows us women in a great light, opposed to fighting, cussing each other out, going off on each other. No, I just don't want that to be depicted in our narrative. It's time for us to change, and inside, and her music and how she speak and uplift and everything that she do. And Ashton, if you working with the Music Academy and you making change with all of that, that is awesome. And with me, with this podcast, I am trying to make changes. I'm trying to trailblaze for other.
You are making changes.
Yeah.
Because you have created something that now people can visibly see and hear and adapt and take the nuggets that are left and put it into great use as it relates to paying it forward with themselves and others in living a better, changing the narrative type of life. So you are doing it.
Thank you.
And I want to piggyback on one thing that Cy was saying, Chrissy, when you was talking about the music industry or what have you. I took the time, Chrissy, when I think we were talking about Cy's music or whatever, and I took the time to kind of go on your page side, and I told Chrissy I just watched video after video after video after video, and it was so empowering. It was so wonderful to watch your work. And you are very gifted and you're very talented. Your voice is so melodic.
And her spirit is beautiful.
Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, why is it, this is no negative thing. Why don't I hear her name called on the Billboard music, whatever you call it, stuff or whatever, right? And then I thought to myself, I looked at how tasteful your videos are. Your videos are about the art of your voice, the art of your writing, the art of how your instruments intertwine to create the sound that you have created. And a lot of we have gotten away from the art, the true art form, and we've kind of replaced it. And when I say kind, I'm talking about industry wise, with the WAP. What is that? WAP, whatever that WAP song is. I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? And to women that are doing what they do, and that's now considered art. And it's like, really? Like, is that really art? Is that because Cy is not whopping and shaking and gyrating, but it's so melodic, it's so anointed, it's so everything. But we take the WAP, and that's considered art. That's considered a Billboard, triple platinum.
And that's why I try to put her and tag her on everything.
Wow.
When it says support Black business, because she is a brand. Like Cy has her music, she has her merchandise. Everyone, we have to support you with your playwriting, and Ashton with what you're doing, and other endeavors that I'm trying to do to make a change for my child, the younger generation, and going forward. Because if we don't change the channel or make the change, nothing is going to occur. Nothing is going to happen. So if it takes 1, 2, 3, or gazillion, we're going to make it happen. Just like what happened in Columbia, South Carolina. That was powerful. When that sergeant, that army guy was, bullying that kid, and how they came and was like, okay, come on now, he ain't by himself. That's what I love to see as we the people. That's
what changing the narrative.
We're changing the narrative, and we letting them know, look, we are a united front. We are here to help and be here for each other. When you think they're alone, They're not alone. They're never
Right.
alone. We're never alone.
Right. I mean, we also gotta hold the broadcasters and platforms
Absolutely.
to task, like, because they tell us, that people only want to see, the
Absolutely.
Cardi B's of the world, or people only want to hear the hip hop that's whatever, trap, whatever. And I have always said, and there's a whole bunch of people like me that say, well, that's not true. Like,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
people we want to hear a variety of things, but
Absolutely.
nobody will know I exist if you never play me.
Hmm.
When India Ari came out 20 years ago,
Yeah.
they told her the same thing,
Yeah.
and nobody, would have thought, but her label backed her and pushed her and
And
made
that's what
sure
you
she
need.
got in
Yes.
the door, made
Yeah.
sure she was in the,
She was
was on those
heard.
stages. Yeah. And
Mhm.
as soon as that happened, everybody loved her. And of
Yeah.
course they did,
Yeah.
Um, but if they would just give equal footing to different types
Absolutely.
of,
Give equal
different
footing.
voices. Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Just
So,
give everybody that same opportunity. That's
mhm,
what I'm saying. Because it's really about the art. And that's
right,
where we focus it back on the art. You know what I mean? What is
right,
the art? It's not really being naked. It's not really, the art is everything that goes into it, that writing, the music, the melody, the instruments, the
right.
art, how does it make you feel when you
Yeah,
hear it?
yeah.
What does it move on the inside of you? So that's all I wanted to say, Chrissy. I'm done.
Yeah. And I just want to touch on this because, I told you that 50 minutes go by fast.
It
Yeah, go ahead.
does.
I'm gonna be quiet.
Right. So I was looking at the news, and they were talking about, the Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrice Cullors, and how they criticized her about using the Black Lives Matter money funding her personal buying 4 houses and everything like that. Why do they go to that and not realize that this woman is a best-selling author? She's an author. She speaks, she goes out and she's a public speaker. Why do they go to that saying that, for us, we're stealing from our organizations, when actuality, that's our counterparts doing that. So why do people always gotta go there with us? When it
How did
like
they,
we can't
how did they
purchase
determine
property.
that? I'm sorry. How did they determine that money were funds that were given from the organization? That's what I don't.
Right.
Confusing to me.
Right.
And they said that she brought something for 1.4 million, right? Which is not. I mean, in California, that's not like
right.
That's like a nice house. That's nothing like extraordinary. So it's just interesting. Like, I just wonder what research they took to get
all that information
from the organization.
Yeah. No, they broke it down and said she bought 4 houses and she did some other things for her family. She was like, first of all, I don't take salary from Black Lives Matter.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I don't take salary. She was like, I have a YouTube deal, I have a book deal, I have a bestseller. She works. Why do you all have to go there for us?
Yeah, because to them, we should have nothing. To them, we should accomplish nothing. So they always are going to go and find the most negative, the most absurd things to chip away at our credibility, to chip away at us being who we are. You know what I mean? Right. This woman has created something, and she is more than just Black Lives That Matter.
Right.
And because of that, we should not, in their eyes and in their hearts and minds, we should not be able to obtain anything.
That
we need to be the poor Black folk from back on the plantation with them dictating and telling us what to do. Whenever you rise above what they feel that we should have, what they feel that we, deserve, they're going to start digging and try to pull and change and flip that script every single time because they don't believe that we should have any.
And the playbook isn't new. This is what they always do. They always
Absolutely.
try to discredit our leaders, discredit our organizations, and discredit our movements. You
Yes.
know, and then 50 years down the line, they love Martin Luther King, but they
Hey,
tried to discredit him too. You know,
absolutely.
this is
Absolutely.
this is what they do, and you know, it's we should never be surprised at the attempt to discredit, and we should also realize and recognize projection when we see it, because
Mm,
everything they ever call us is projection. Everything they ever call us is what they do. Every
right.
single thing. You
Right.
know, they say we're
Absolutely.
criminals. They say we're
Because they're the
violent.
ones that taught us how to be one if we are.
Yeah, every
Oh, the balance.
characteristic that they try to lay on us, you know,
Is what
laziness,
they
all of
do.
that stuff is projection.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And this is what I want us to work on as a culture and as a race. Um, Watching the Billie Holiday movie was outstanding. And
Absolutely.
how they used her her
Uh,
her her vice and her addiction against her to bring her down.
Mhm,
Drugs and men.
mhm,
We have to start
mm,
talking
mhm.
about when they come in, our counterparts, and try, because they're the one introducing it to us. That's, you know what I mean? And I just wanted to bring this out because we're losing so many monumental, talented Black artists from this hatred drug. We have to build starting with your children, with their nieces, with their nephews, to try to have a journey and try to have a goal, and not try to be, I'll say, and I could be wrong, weak-willed and want to get with the, be with the get on, be with the crew. If they're doing it, because I'm gonna tell you, Psy and us, we ain't strangers to it on tour. You have to be strong to say, you know what, nah, I'm cool. And that's
Right,
how I was. I'm cool.
right.
Because I'm not going to be weak-willed and try to get along and be along to get into that habit. And that ain't what I want. And that's an expensive habit. And that do damage to your body. So
Right.
how do you guys feel about them? Because that's with them trying to control us as well. How can we help our next generations to remember the DC man Barron say no to drugs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up with hope, down with dope.
Up with hope, down with dope.
That would dope.
Yeah. So us DC, we from DC, East Coast. That's a big part of my passion too, is helping the younger kids to not fall for that, in which the person will come and see you at your highest and be like, oh, this will take you to a next level.
Mm-hmm.
What can we say to them to hopefully get them to say, you know what, like nah, I'm cool.
I mean, it's really on parents to just start openly having these conversations with their children, and not just, don't do this, don't do that, but talking with them about their friends, and talking about what it is that they're trying to do, and talking about what it feels like to be a teenager right now,
Mm-hmm.
to be a young person right now, and listening. Drug culture in America in general is pervasive and out of control. Americans do everything out of control. We eat out of control. We drink out of control. So so there's that. But I really think it's about parents and guardians and elders speaking with young people, and also, Black people need to really, really consider doing therapy, like
Yes, I
everybody.
was
Like
going
we
to
all
bring
need
that up. I love you. Yes,
Yeah.
Therapy is key. And Bobby Brown talked about that at Red Table Talk, about how therapy really helped him and his wife and his kids. They all are in it. They go together as a family, and they all go individually. Therapy does help. You got to get it out. You got to express your feelings, because when you leave it bottled up, that's when all the sabotaging comes.
Yeah, and I mean, we are all traumatized collectively and individually by just society. You know, like
Yeah.
you don't have to have someone killed by a cop to have that kind of trauma in your family. Anytime a cop pulls up behind us, you
We're
know, a lot
nervous.
of us are
Yeah.
terrorized.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
and that's because there's a history of trauma there
Yeah.
that we need to address. That, you know, there's history of, you know, whatever in your family that's happening. Black folks need to not be afraid or not be reluctant to get therapy. Like, it's something we should all do. You
Yeah.
know?
I think that's
agree.
something that my generation is really being really good with, because they're being very transparent when it comes to therapy. And, you know, I'll have friends saying, oh no, I can't do it this day, I have to go talk to my therapist. Or you'll see people tweeting, oh, my therapist said such and such, giving advice that they got from their therapist. So the fact that my generation is like being really open about it is something that I'm still trying to familiarize myself with, because growing up, you know, you only went to therapy if something was really wrong, like, oh, it's an issue, not just, you know, regular well-being, just making sure that you're kept to be a sane person. So I think that's something that the next generation does understand, and that they do comprehend that therapy is just good just for self-care, normal self-care.
Yep. Like going to the dentist.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Yes. So really quick, everybody, our time is winding down. I would like for each one of you to give an outro of how you feel as a Black woman and your views of what we have accomplished today and moving forward.
I think as a
Go ahead. Sai.
Oh, okay. I mean, I just feel so empowered every time I sit down and talk to my sisters. So speaking to Ashton, Shannon, and you, Chrissy, like, I just feel empowered, and more of this, please. You know,
Yes, we will.
the pandemic has made it so that I can't talk to everybody in person as much as I would like to. But whenever I do have the opportunity to speak with my sisters, I walk away from that conversation feeling like Superwoman. You know, so I'm thankful. Thank you for this. Thank you.
Thank you for having your schedule open to partake in this podcast. I thank you. Ashton?
It's just really a blessing to be among you all. I think I might be the youngest here. So I'm just here to just soak up wisdom and just try to learn as much as I can. And it's just an honor to be in the presence of you all. I really enjoyed this. Thank you for including me.
I love you, and I had to include you because of our history and how you are as a Black woman. And I've watched you grow into the woman that you are, and I'm very proud of you. Very proud.
Thank you, Chris.
Shannon, my sister, who I love and adore.
I think, Chrissy, this one, I'm so elated and so excited and so honored and so happy to be a part of your podcast, because I hear your passion in wanting change and wanting to be the change that you want to see moving forward. And so being a part of this has been so wonderful. It's a blessing, as I said, as you get to collaborate and talk with women that we all see things differently, but yet on a positive note, and we all can glean and we all can learn from one another. But we would not be able to do that if it weren't for you following your heart's desire and creating this platform. So I want to say hats off to you, Chrissy, for just stepping out on faith and doing something that actually is going to make impact the way you want it to. So I am honored as your sister. I am honored as a member that you are allowed to come on and speak. So you are the absolute best, and continue what you're doing, Queen Chrissy.
Thank you.
We will be here for you. And we hope that this has touched or changed somebody's life. I don't care if it's a word, if it was something Sai said, Ash said. I said or you, but let's just keep the ball moving forward.
Yes, and that is my sincere thank and gratitude for each of you. I am here for a change. I'm here to empower everyone, but my sisterhood will always be my forever love and my forever passion. So I thank you guys so much for spending this time with me and allowing for my guests, for you all to come and bestow your knowledge and your passion onto my podcast. So thank you guys. Episode 3, Black Women in America. I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye. You guys rock.
HU.
For me, yeah.